and beaches hid a deeper story, one of battles, protests, and quiet resistance. Behind Thailand's famous smile lies a history shaped not just by culture, but by conflict. Today, we take a thoughtful journey through the untold moments of military struggle that helped shape the heart of Thailand. The Franco-Thai War took place between 1940 and 1941. During a time when the world was already in great turmoil due to World War II, Thailand, under the leadership of Prime Minister Plaek Phibion Songkhram, saw an opportunity to reclaim territories in Laos and Cambodia that had been ceded to French Indochina. Earlier in the 20th century, the fall of France to Nazi Germany in 1940 weakened French control in its colonies, and Thailand believed it could take advantage of that situation. Nationalist sentiments were rising, and the Thai military was being modernized with support from Japan, giving the country the confidence to engage in conflict. Skirmishes began in late 1940 and escalated into a full-scale war by early 1941. The Thai Air Force launched bombing raids on French positions, and the Thai army advanced into disputed territories. France, though weakened, still had a relatively strong naval presence in Southeast Asia. The conflict culminated in the Battle of Ko Chang, where the French Navy defeated the Thai fleet, halting further Thai progress. Despite this naval defeat, Thailand had achieved some territorial gains on land. Japan, which had its own strategic interests in Southeast Asia, intervened diplomatically to end the conflict. A ceasefire was brokered in January 1941, and a peace treaty was signed in Tokyo. As a result, Thailand regained parts of Laos and Cambodia. Japan's role in the negotiation increased its influence over Thailand, which later led to a military alliance between the two during World War II. The Franco-Thai War was relatively short, but it was significant for reshaping regional power dynamics and boosting Thai nationalism. It also marked the beginning of closer ties between Thailand and Japan, which would have deeper consequences in the years that followed. Thailand's role in World War II was complex, marked by both cooperation and quiet resistance. On December 8, 1941, just hours after the attack on Pearl Harbor, Japanese forces invaded Thailand from multiple directions. The Thai military initially resisted, particularly in regions like Prachuap, Kirikon, but after a few hours of fighting, and recognizing Japan's overwhelming force, the Thai government agreed to a ceasefire. Within days, Thailand signed a formal alliance with Japan, allowing Japanese troops to use Thai territory as a base for further invasions into Malaya and Burma. Prime Minister Plaek Phibion Songkhram led Thailand during this period and promoted a pro-Japanese stance. In January 1942, under pressure and alliance obligations, Thailand declared war on the United States and the United Kingdom. However, the Thai ambassador in Washington, Seni Pramoj, refused to deliver the declaration to the U.S. government and instead helped establish a resistance group called the Free Thai Movement, or Seri Thai. This underground resistance was supported by both the British and the Americans, and included many Thai civilians, military officers, and students abroad who opposed Japanese control and Phibion's policies. While publicly aligned with Japan, many Thais quietly opposed the occupation. The Free Thai movement gathered intelligence, aided downed Allied pilots, and sabotaged Japanese operations. Within Thailand, Japanese troops used the country's infrastructure, but their presence was increasingly resented. By mid-1944, domestic pressure forced Phibion to resign, and the new Thai government distanced itself from Japan without formally breaking the alliance. When Japan surrendered in 1945, Thailand claimed it had been coerced into the alliance and emphasized the role of the Free Thai movement in aiding the Allies. Because of this, Thailand avoided severe post-war penalties and was able to rebuild its international relationships relatively quickly. Thailand's modern history has been deeply shaped by a pattern of military coups that have disrupted democratic development and often placed the armed forces at the center of political power. Since the end of absolute monarchy in 1932, Thailand has experienced more than a dozen successful military coups, making it one of the most coup-prone countries in the world. These power shifts have typically involved the military overthrowing civilian governments, often citing reasons such as corruption, national instability, or threats to the monarchy. One of the earliest and most influential figures in this tradition was Field Marshal Plaek Phibbins, who came to power after the 1932 revolution and later staged a coup to consolidate his leadership. He promoted aggressive nationalism and modernization, setting a precedent for the military's role in governance. Later decades saw repeated interventions by military generals who suspended constitutions, dissolved parliaments, and ruled through authoritarian measures while promising eventual returns to democracy. In 2006, a notable coup removed Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra from power while he was abroad. The military justified this by accusing him of corruption and abuse of power, though his popularity among rural voters remained strong. Another significant coup occurred in 2014, when the military ousted the elected government of Yingluck Shinawatra, Thaksin's sister, after months of political unrest. General Prayut Chan-o-cha, who led the coup, later became prime minister, under a military-backed constitution designed to limit civilian control. The repeated cycle of military takeovers has created a political climate where democratic institutions are weak and civilian governments struggle to maintain authority without military approval. Constitutions are frequently rewritten to accommodate military interests, and critics of the armed forces often face legal or extrajudicial consequences. Despite public protests and growing calls for reform, the military continues to be a dominant force in Thailand's political structure. Thailand has experienced several border clashes with its neighboring countries, particularly Myanmar and Cambodia, driven by territorial disputes, ethnic conflicts, and security concerns. Along the Thai-Myanmar border, tensions have often arisen due to the presence of ethnic minority insurgents fleeing conflict within Myanmar and seeking refuge in Thailand. Armed groups, such as the Karen National Union, KNU, and others have operated near the border, prompting the Myanmar military to pursue them across or near Thai territory. These operations have occasionally resulted in artillery shells landing in Thai villages, leading to civilian casualties and forced evacuations. The Thai military has responded with its own cross-border shelling, or by increasing troop presence, aiming to protect its sovereignty without escalating into war. Clashes with Cambodia have been more directly linked to historical disputes over specific landmarks. One of the most well-known conflicts occurred around the Preah Vihear Temple, an ancient Khmer structure located on a cliff along the Thai-Cambodian border. Though the International Court of Justice awarded the temple to Cambodia in 1962, the surrounding land remained disputed. In the late 2000s and early 2010s, tensions escalated into armed skirmishes, with both sides exchanging gunfire and artillery, resulting in military and civilian casualties. These conflicts led to temporary evacuations of border communities and strained diplomatic relations between the two countries. Efforts to resolve these disputes have involved negotiations, international arbitration, and regional diplomacy through ASEAN. However, nationalism, historical grievances, and local political pressures often complicate peaceful resolutions. While large-scale conflict has been avoided, these repeated border incidents demonstrate how unresolved territorial issues and regional instability can quickly lead to violence. Both borders remain heavily monitored, and military readiness continues to be maintained in these areas to prevent escalation while political solutions are sought. Thailand's history of military crackdowns on protesters reflects deep tensions between authoritarian control and the public's demand for democracy and civil rights. These crackdowns often occur during periods of political transition or unrest, where the military saw mass protests as a threat to national stability or royal authority. One of the earliest and most tragic crackdowns took place in October 1973, when thousands of students and civilians protested against military dictatorship. The government responded with force, using soldiers and tanks to disperse crowds in Bangkok, resulting in dozens of deaths and hundreds of injuries. Although the crackdown led to the temporary fall of the military regime, it set a precedent for how the state might respond to dissent. In May 1992, another significant protest, known as Black May, occurred after the military-backed general Suchinda Khrap was appointed Prime Minister without being elected. Massive demonstrations erupted in Bangkok, and the military responded with live fire, beatings, and mass arrests. Official reports stated dozens were killed, though some estimates suggest the real toll was higher. This crackdown eventually forced Suchinda to resign, and the monarchy intervened to help end the crisis peacefully. A more recent and internationally scrutinized incident happened in 2010 during protests led by the Red Shirt movement, supporters of former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra. The protests, demanding new elections, occupied parts of central Bangkok for weeks. The government declared a state of emergency and deployed the military to clear the protesters. The resulting crackdown involved snipers, armored vehicles, and intense street battles, leaving more than 90 people dead and hundreds injured. These events have contributed to a climate of fear and mistrust between the public and the military. Each violent suppression has left lasting scars on Thai society, shaping future protest movements and deepening the struggle for democratic governance in the country. The Deep South insurgency in Thailand is an ongoing conflict primarily taking place in the provinces of Pattani, Yala, Narathiwat, and parts of Sojikla. These areas have a predominantly Mello Muslim population, which is culturally and ethnically distinct from the Thai Buddhist majority. The roots of the conflict date back over a century to the early 1900s, when the former Malay Sultanate of Pattani was annexed by Siam. Over time, Thai governments pursued policies of assimilation, including promoting the Thai language, Buddhism, and central authority, which many in the southern provinces perceived as an erosion of their identity. Religion and local governance. Armed resistance began to resurface in the early 2000s after years of relative quiet. A new generation of insurgents, often loosely organized under various separatist groups such as Barisan Revolusi Nasional (BRN), began launching attacks on Thai security forces, government officials, teachers, and even civilians. These attacks include bombings, ambushes, and targeted killings. Schools and monks have frequently been targeted as symbols of the Thai state, deepening tensions between communities. In response, the Thai military has maintained a heavy presence in the region, enforcing strict security measures and sometimes curfews, which has led to accusations of human rights abuses, arbitrary arrests, and extrajudicial killings. The conflict has claimed over 7,000 lives since 2004 and has displaced thousands. Despite various efforts at dialogue and peace talks, including negotiations facilitated by Malaysia, a lasting resolution remains elusive. The insurgents demand greater autonomy or independence, while the Thai state insists on maintaining national unity and territorial integrity. The violence continues at a lower intensity than in its peak years but remains a persistent threat. Many residents live in fear, caught between insurgent groups and state forces, hoping for peace in a region that has known conflict for generations. In reflecting on the history of Thailand's military conflicts, from border clashes to internal crackdowns and ongoing insurgencies, we see a nation shaped by struggle, resilience, and the pursuit of identity. Each chapter, whether it was the brief but impactful Franco-Thai War, Thailand's complex role in World War II, the repeated military takeovers, or the painful violence against protesters, tells us something about the deep tensions between authority, freedom, and national unity. In the southern provinces, where conflict still simmers, the call for understanding and justice remains urgent. And yet, even in the face of violence and disruption, the people of Thailand have continued to raise their voices for democracy, for peace, and for dignity. This story is not only about military power or political shifts, it is also about the courage of individuals and communities who continue to hope for a future where conflict no longer defines their homeland.